Rays and the Yankees after this rain delay will indeed start this game, and if the weatherman's forecast holds true, they will play it straight through. Let's take a quick look at the starting lineup for the Rays, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Gerard Span's going to lead off. He'll be in left field, hitting in front of Kevin Kiermaier. C.J. Cron is the DH, hitting third, with Brad Miller, the first baseman, hitting cleanup. Wilson Ramos will do the catching. Joey Wendell is at second base. He'll hit sixth. Adani Echeverria, the number 7 hitter at shortstop, with Malik Smith in right. And Daniel Robertson will be at third base, and he will bat ninth.
Well, and for today's starter for the New York Yankees, Luis Severino, he picked up right where he left off in 2017 in his first start against the Blue Jays up at Rogers Center. Went 5 2/3 innings, giving up just the 1 hit, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts on just 91 pitches. And he is going to feature an explosive fastball, use it to both sides of the plate, a slider that he will change speeds on that gets pretty good depth, and a changeup that he is not afraid to use either. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, see how it's going to line up behind him here. Brought to you by Golden Diamond Source. And in that outfield left to right, much like last night, Stanton, Gardner, and Judge. And across the infield, third to first, we are looking at Drury, Gregorius, Torreyes gets the call. Tyler Austin, Austin Romine will be behind the plate.
Here is the first pitch of this game. Severino delivers a strike right at the knees. 53 degrees here at game time. Joe West calls the balls and strikes, the veteran umpire, and the crew chief. And Denard takes it high. It's 1-1. Doug Eddings at first, Marty Foster at second. Mark Rippinger, who worked the plate last night, the umpire down at third. And it's going to be a strike at the knees. So the count is 1-2.
Now, how about that ability to be able to use the fastball on both sides? We know that, but the slider, same thing. Little backdoor slider there, right to the outer edge at the knees. You've got to account for all of his pitches in all of the different locations.
Too low. It bites down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Span, who's had a couple of big hits, had one for the Rays when they scored 3 in the 6th inning. Double driving in 2. His opening day had that big triple that cleared the bases, led the Rays to a victory, their only victory so far. He is out on strikes this time to start this game.
Well, let's take a quick look at a scouting report on Luis Severino. And this is a guy really who has emerged as the Yankee ace, flipped the switch, and that really started a season ago when he won 14 games, struck out 230 hitters in 31 starts. But really the second half of the season even better than the first, and more depth on the slider. That was a big plus for him. And you're going to see that throughout the day today. His slider a season ago had some sweeping action to it, a little more right to left. This year he's getting a little bit more depth to it, and that makes that pitch even tougher to handle.
Yeah, that's not good news for American League hitters, that he's even better than he was a year ago. And Kevin Kiermaier facing him here. Kevin still trying to find his stride. Comes in 1 of 19 to start this year. And there's a base hit into right off the 1-1 pitch. And the Rays get the first base runner, a 1-out single from Kiermaier.
And I love that right there. Kevin Kiermaier, in his early season struggles, gets back to the bag and asks for the baseball. Take that baseball, throw it right out of the game. Hits have been a hard thing to come by for this Rays lineup against opposing starters. And with Kiermaier, he got a changeup that stayed up in the zone and was able to pop it through the hole on the right side.
Snaps it 0 for 14. Some speed at first base in Kiermaier. And here is C.J. Cron. And that's a strike. Fastball to start him, and well placed at 97.
Yeah, he's got a good idea how to use that pitch. Gets great velocity with it, but again, using it to both sides of the plate. And here, even out of the stretch, is quick enough that he can control the running game.
0-2 now.
Great shot of it right there. He has very little wasted motion towards home plate. He comes set, checks the runner, and then he's off and going.
You know, last year he made 31 starts. There were only 6 attempts with him on the mound to steal a base.
Attempts.
Yeah.
Now forget successes.
Yeah.
Just attempts against a right-hander on top of that.
They were successful 4 times. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And he was approaching 200 innings of work. That's a phenomenal number for a right-handed pitcher, especially a starter.
This one toward the gap in left center field. Going to be over. Stanton's head will go to the wall. Kiermaier, a rounding third. He's going to score on the double by Crone. And the Braves break out in front. And boy, that's a good sign for this offense. Crone, with his second double of the year, picks up his first run batted in.
Boy, and he's able to get it just outside of the reach as Giancarlo Stanton, not an everyday left fielder, and the Yankees would prefer to have him not out there with as much room as you have to cover. A slider gets smoked, and Stanton just cannot get there. That ball eludes the glove, and the Rays take the early lead.
Stanton cutting straight across and could not get there.
That maybe needed a little bit deeper of an angle in hindsight.
Now Brad Miller fouls it back. Boy, here's a chance with a man in scoring position, a run already home, 1 out. You get an opportunity to score against Severino. Take advantage of it.
And the last thing that you want to see is him settle in. If he settles in, it could become very difficult for you.
Well, he's ahead of Miller, 0-2. Severino, 24 years old, as it turns out, working on 5 days rest this time. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not.
Baseball is all about routines, and you know, as a starting pitcher, you've got your 5-day routine, and early in the season you'd like to be in that as much as possible, but you also understand you've got to adapt.
And a cut and a miss by Miller. So Severino picks up the strikeout for a big out, number 2, with a man in scoring position.
See, that ball stays in the strike zone, the bottom of the strike zone, for a long time, and it forces a quick decision by the hitter.
It'll be Wilson Ramos. Ramos 3 for 14 on the year, looking for his first run batted in. Pitch is down, 1-0. Right back into the screen. A ball and a strike. Great opportunity early for the Rays. They've cashed in 1 run, trying to pick up another one. Little looper into right center. That's gonna be caught by Torreyes. Torreyes got out there from second base to make that catch and prevent the Rays from picking up their second run. Boy, that is some play. Got a great jump, stayed with it, hauled it in, and the Rays settled for 1. Bottom of the first coming, 1-0 Tampa Bay. by the second baseman, Ronald Torreyes.
Boy, the ball off the bat, didn't think that he had a chance, but what a route and what effort saves a run, and it saves Luis Severino more pitches.
Severino very appreciative of that defensive effort. Quick look at the lineup for New York. Brett Gardner, then Aaron Judge, and Giancarlo Stanton, Sanchez, Gregorius, and Drury down the middle. Austin, Romine, and Torreyes in the 7, 8, and 9 spots. That brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. Well, there's Brett Gardner against the Rays lefty Blake Snell. The pitch is a strike at the knees. Gardner starting the day at 190. The home run and a run batted in. He had 3 hits in last night's game, and he can be a nuisance. 0-2, a foul ball right back into the screen.
Yeah, he's a guy who's flashed some power. Obviously, you know that he can run, can slap the ball the other way, extend at bats. Perfect guy in this leadoff spot for this team, for this Yankee team.
Upstairs, 1-2. And boy, if this game turns out the way we think with these two guys on the mound, Severino and Snell, it should be a fun game to watch. Snell continues to pitch well. Severino has developed into a top line starter. Ground ball knocked down by Wendell to keep it on the infield, but that's it. A couple of steps into the outfield grass to retrieve it. Gardner has a hit.
Yeah, and it wouldn't have mattered. He comes up with that clean. Gardner had such a full head of steam, he was going to beat that out regardless. Let's take a look at that Rays defense. The rest of it brought to you by Golden Diamond Source, and in the outfield left to right, Denard Span, Kevin Kiermaier, Malik Smith gets the call out there in right field. And then across that infield, third to first, a little different look. Daniel Robertson, Adeiny Echeverria, of course, Joey Wendell and Brad Miller. Wilson Ramos will be back behind the plate.
Aaron Judge hitting out of the number 2 spot. Upstairs, 1-0. Snell lifetime 2-2 against this New York Yankee ball club. That covers 8 starts already. Made his major league debut against the Yankees in April of 2016. 0-2 here in 5 starts. There's just been a different look about Snell this year too. His presence on the mound, the facial expression is more businesslike.
Well, there's no question that there has been a profound maturing process, and it started a season ago. He has carried that in through the offseason, his work in spring training, attacking things more professionally with more mature, more sense of purpose and focus, and you can see it play itself out.
Upstairs, the ceiling is so high for him, and I think it's something that if you're a player of his ability, a pitcher of his ability, you know that. But I think the realization has really set in with him about that ceiling and how good he can really be, and he's serious about it.
But it takes work, and that's what he's putting in now at a high level.
Popper right side. Miller from first base will be there and make the catch. Had to reach back to grab it. When you get a chance to retire Judge, you do it. 1 away. Our Toyota inside look. You can see in 25 starts since the beginning of 2017, first 14 and then the last 11, things have turned around.
It all starts with the fastball command, and then you start to look at walks per 9 way down, opponent's average because you're working from out in front more, way down, pitches per inning, you're more efficient, therefore more effective. I mean, it really starts there and rolls downhill.
Giancarlo Stanton takes a cut and a miss. Stanton with a couple of home runs in a New York uniform, and a tough night last night when he struck out 5 times in the New York win over the Rays, 11-4.
I'll tell you what, he has the most closed off stance of anybody in the game. You could see it right there, how closed off he is.
Roller up the right side. 0-2.
Boy, so many moving parts right now for Giancarlo Stanton, and he gets caught chasing, pulled off that slider right there, getting fooled right there with the fastball. Then you start guessing. The fastball that's elevated, he's not able to get up to, and that really is a bad combination. He's pulling off the slider, and he can't get to the fastball up right now.
First time in his career that he had struck out 5 times in a game, but I'll tell you, there have been some pretty good Yankee hitters do that, including Bernie Williams back in '91. He had a game when he struck out 5 times. Now the 1-2. Runner is on the move, and a long one to left. He connects this time and then some, and belts a 2-run home run. His 3rd of the year. And just like that, New York breaks out in front, 2-0. That ball was shot out of here. So last night it was Didi Gregorius. Stanton connects in the 1st inning today. His 3rd home run in a New York uniform. Now Sanchez takes it low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Be anxious to see what that exit velocity was, because that was absolutely hammered.
You heard it and barely saw it.
And you know what? After the 0-2 fastball up, I thought, here's the hook. The hook below the zone to get him to pull off and chase it. Instead, he went slider, and it broke right into his swing. Just a mistake in the pitch chosen between Ramos and Snell. Had him set up perfectly for the off-speed, more off-speed curveball, as opposed to the slider that did him a favor.
Foul as it slices out of play. Right field side, and it's a 2-2 count. Snell, who had worked 5 2/3 in his outing Friday against Boston, making the start here, and touch for 2 in the 1st, and all the way to the backstop over the head of Ramos. Let's take another look at that home run pitch you talked about.
Well, 1-2, and that was a slider that just spun, and again, it broke right into his swing. And I'm going to tell you, not to be overly dramatic, I can't remember a ball coming off the bat that hard before in a game that we've called.
Yep.
That ball was as well struck as one that I can remember going back however long you want to go back.
Well, it took an instant to get out of here.
Upper deck
Yep.
out of here that fast.
Sky to the right side. Well, let's break that down from StatCast here. Take a look at this. The fly to that one.
Yeah, the exit velocity.
17.9.
Yeah, that absolutely, every bit of it.
A cut and a miss by Sanchez for the 2nd out, 1st strikeout. Well, Stanton asked about the performance last night, his 5 strikeout performance, and I thought his response was perfect. He turned it right around and said Didi Gregorius had a great night, He said he did a great job of cleaning up the garbage in front of him. And I thought that was the best way to handle it. You know you're going to get those questions here in New York. And Gregorius certainly did that for this team. While Stanton had a tough night, Gregorius had 4 hits, 8 runs batted in, 2 home runs. And there's a first pitch strike to him.
And did a great job of handling everything.
Yes, he
did. A fastball in, around thigh high. He got it out of there. An elevated fastball up around the letters.
Yep.
Off-speed pitch that he soft served into left field. I mean, however they attacked him, and a couple of those pitches were mistakes. But regardless, he was getting to all of it.
Hot shot foul. 1-2. Well, we'll take a look at this RBI list. Most runs batted in and a Yankee home opener since 1920. Most recently done in '98 by Tino Martinez with 5. Gregorius topped that with 8. And now the count goes to 2-2. Another foul ball back.
And that's what really makes this Yankee lineup so dangerous. You've got Gardner, who's a pest, right at the top of that lineup. Then you immediately get in Judge can hurt you, Stanton can hurt you, Gregorius, Gary Sanchez. So many different guys can hurt you in this lineup.
26 pitches already. There's 27. And a cut and a miss. Gregorius out on strikes on the toss down to first. Couple of strikeouts in the inning following the 2-run home run by Giancarlo Stanton. You heard it, you saw it, and then you didn't. 2-1 New York at the end of 1. Homer in the bottom of the first. So on we go. Joey Wendell here in the second facing Luis Severino. The pitch is a strike. Well, here's the thing that you worry about. You go to the second, you continue to compete. Rays had a chance to get more than one against Severino. And you hate to miss that opportunity because he has the potential and the ability to settle in and make a long afternoon out of a lineup. So we'll see. Maybe not.
And when you look at that inning, he got bailed out. Wilson Ramos looked like he had a little nice soft serve base hit into right field. And Ronald Torreyes with a heck of a play or it would have been 2-0, runner on first, and you're still forcing Severino to work.
Chopped by the mound. Torres backhanded pickup throw, just got it. Close play at first, and another outstanding defensive display by Torres from his second base position.
I'll tell you, when you're talking about giving a guy a blow, and here comes Ronald Torres. Look at the 2 plays that he's made already. Ranging into right field on a pop-up, and then that play coming across the infield, across his body with the throw, and just in time.
As difficult as the pickup was on that, the throw's impressive because of the momentum of his body. Danny Echeverria. 1 strike the count. Little chopper to short. Gregorius floats it to first. 2 up and 2 down. Bases will be empty for Malik Smith. Smith will take as much time as he can getting to the mound. Severino, they're getting to the plate with Severino on the mound. Severino made 6 pitches here in the second after that 27 pitch first inning for Snell.
And he works quickly. So
Yep.
It's a quick 6 pitches, and you'd like to give Blake a little bit more of a blow than that.
A ball, no strikes. Corners up. Drury close at third. 1-1.
Not convinced.
Take is down. 2-1. Malik's in the lineup getting a start and playing right field. That evens the count. Duffy and Gomez not in the lineup. Well, a couple of ground ball outs, and that's another thing Severino can throw. Ground balls. There's one chopped to short. Gregorius makes the throw. 3 up, 3 down, 3 ground ball outs, and we go to the bottom of the second. 2-1 New York.
in the bottom of the second inning while I was talking with Blake Snell about how he's felt so far this season. He said he feels great. He said he's a lot more focused this season. He's confident. Every day is important to him. He's taking things a lot more seriously. He says when he has more confidence, it translates into better command. And he said that Chris Archer and Nathan Eovaldi have been holding him accountable the past few months, which has helped a lot. And manager Kevin Cash said he's liked what he's seen out of Snell so far. He's picked up where he left off last season, except this year he's seen a lot more conviction out of him, which he likes. Dwayne?
Yeah, and a nice recovery getting Sanchez and Gregorius on strikes after the 2-run home run by Stanton in the bottom of the first inning. And at the end of the day, I think the other element for Blake Snell is that he's holding himself accountable. And that's where it begins and ends.
And getting help from teammates, which is exactly how a manager prefers it. They don't want to have to do the work, but when the teammates are working in unison, and you've got some guys holding him accountable and Blake Snell being very accepting of that. Well, that's how you grow and that's how you mature.
Three and one. Tamper foul. Drury, the third baseman, 0 for 4 last night. Coming over from Arizona. Showed all the signs of settling in there at third for New York. There's ball 4. So the leadoff walk, and that's the last thing you want to do. Put the leadoff man against this lineup with the leadoff man on base.
Well, it becomes how quickly can you put that out of your mind and now go to work here on Tyler Austin. Maybe try to entice him into a ground ball to this infield. And you're going to come up against some adversity, some of it self-inflicted like this leadoff walk, but you got to put that out of your mind and get back to work.
Austin 3 of 9 in the early part of this year, takes the ball.
Starts with getting that fastball back into the areas that you want it, and then some early misses here.
That's a strike, mid-90s in velocity with his fastball there. 1-1. Yeah, this is a big stage to put it all behind you and focus and be in the moment, but that's what it requires. Now he's ahead of Austin.
Well, anytime that Blake Snell can get the curveball involved, it's such a plus pitch for him in the sense that not only does he get you with the depth on the curveball, he gets you also with the change of speed. That curveball right there at 80, that's really his slowest offering, so it beats you in 2 different planes, change of speed and also depth of pitch.
And a foul ball, just a little bit of it, but enough for Austin to stay alive.
Well, now you're vulnerable to heater up.
But too high. It's 2-2. And he's run another full count. He went 3-2 to Drew. He walked him. We're seeing here in the early stages running a little deeper count on these hitters than he'd like.
Well, we showed that great streak that he's been on going basically back to the All-Star break of a season ago, around 16 pitches an inning.
And a cut and a miss. Strikeout for the first out.
And I'm not sure what that pitch was. At 88 miles an hour, it acted as a fastball up and in, but we know his fastball is a whole lot quicker than 88. But whatever it was, let's take a pick. Yeah, just a changeup that he ran up and in. Not exactly where you see too many of those pitches thrown, but it was effective.
Austin Romine. There's a first pitch strike. Yeah, the velocity on his changeup might be mid to upper 80s, but location's another thing. He drops that one in there for a strike. Breaking ball, curve ball. So he's quickly out in front of Romine. Fastball, and Romine trying to wade through it, fouled it away. Like 27 pitches in the first inning, 43 to this point. 1 on, 1 out in the second. And a base hit the other way. Drury goes to second, and Romine on an 0-2 pitch singles into right.
Yeah, a bad combination of circumstances there. First of all, 2 strikes, and Romine just looking to put the ball in play. He gets a curveball that's up and out over the plate, and you also had Joey Wendell, who was swung way up the middle towards second base, and that gave a huge hole there on the right side, especially with the runner being held on by Brad Miller, and Romine took full advantage.
Well, there's Ronald Torreyes, who already has made his presence felt with 2 very good defensive plays. Playing second base, a little late on the fastball there, hitting 9th.
When you look at the work that he did against left-handers a year ago, he hit 338. 338 against lefties. We've already seen what he's been able to do defensively in the early part of this game. Not your typical 9-hole hitter.
Into center field. Kiermaier is going to be there to make the catch as the runners hold. So 2 gone. 2 men on with 2 men out. We swing back around to the top side of the order. Brett Gardner, who opened with an infield hit, scored on the home run by Stanton. Hits with 2 men on and 2 men out in the second. That's a first pitch strike fastball. 2-1 game as Snell tries to keep it that way. A couple more base runners in the second inning. Gardner fouls it. Snell quickly ahead in the count. The 0-2 fouled again. It's the one thing Gardner can do. He'll get down in the count and then continue to battle you, and before you know it, you've thrown more pitches to this guy, even though you've started it by getting out in front 0-2.
That's why he's in a perfect spot for a perfect team, and just like we said earlier in the game, just a pest at the top of the order to put away, because he will fight and battle you. That's just in his DNA.
And hitting in front of Aaron Judge. There's a swing and a miss. That will take care of New York. 2 strikeouts in the inning. They leave 2 through 2-1 New York. Is brought to you by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Tampa Bay Rays. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Babe looking on over Yankee Stadium here. Not the same Yankee Stadium that Ruth built when they opened the old ballpark, the old stadium back in 1923. But a pretty good facsimile of it, the modern version of Yankee Stadium. Robertson, Daniel Robertson leading off for the Rays. 1 strike the count. Rays facing Luis Severino in a 2-1 ball game.
Was it 2009 that this building opened? I can't believe it's been that long.
It does seem amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There were just a few steps south with the original Yankee Stadium here. And across the river from the Polo Grounds, where this Yankee team first played and shared that with the New York Giants as tenants over there. Decided to build a new ballpark, and lo and behold, right across the river, and they became dominant through the years. For a long time leading up to that, they were not. Babe Ruth made a difference, the acquisition, and then walking into Yankee Stadium with that inviting right field porch. And that's been a trademark of Yankee teams. And that continues here. 314 down the line and right here. And the ball will get out in a hurry. Not only down the line, but off the line into right center here. 3-2 count to Robertson. And there's ball 4. And as we saw in the bottom of the first inning, even for a right-handed hitter, the stature of Giancarlo Stanton, the ball gets out of here in a hurry off his bat, even to left. Well, the Rays put the leadoff man aboard. Yeah, that was 117.9, the velocity off the bat of Stanton on that home run. And after all of that, still a 1-run ball game. Span shows the bunt, takes the pitch for a strike.
Looked like he was going to go out there and try to lay that pitch down, and ended up being a backdoor slider. Started off the plate away and was able to take it right to the edge and jump out ahead. Brandon Drury pulled in over there at third base, as you can see, in on the grass.
Little tapper back to second to throw. That's a nice play. Throw back to first, not going to be in time, but Severino, a good job of grabbing that tapper and getting the lead man.
Boy, how many times do you see a pitcher throw the ball on the run and just airmail it into the outfield or down a line, depending on what bag he's throwing to? But Severino, some good pop off the mound right here. Doesn't set his feet at all. Just go ahead and throw that thing moving slightly away, and it's right on the money. Just didn't have enough time to get Span on the return.
Denard Span aboard on the fielder's choice. Here's Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier broken 0 for 14 with a base hit in the first inning. Scored on the Cron double. Now they throw it away down the right field line, and Span will head to second base on the errant pickoff attempt. So after making that impressive play to get the lead man, the Yankees give the Rays a scoring opportunity. Severino charged with the bad throw, an error right there.
It changed the arm angle. As you saw him trying to be quick to first base, the elbow drops, tries more of a sidearm throw, and it just airmailed. Now the Rays get an opportunity. These are the ones you got to cash in on.
Upstairs to Kiermaier.
I mean, think about it. Listen, he did make a nice play on the ground ball getting off the mound, but it's been a leadoff walk and an errant pickoff throw. You gotta make him pay for that.
Foul right back. Kiermaier's base hit in the first, only his second hit in 18 at bats against Severino. One. The on deck man, C.J. Cron. Now 3-1. Severino was third in the Cy Young Award balloting last year. And Kluber and Sale. That's pretty good company right there. Pitched last year at 23 years old. And a good pitch there to take the count to 3-2.
Boy, right on the edge, maybe just a hair off. Close enough that he's going to get the call, but backdoor breaking ball.
And strike 3 called. Came right back and gets Kiermaier looking.
Boy, that at bat was not setting up very well for Severino. Command a little off in a 3-1 count, and he comes back with 2 sliders on the outer edge. Comes all the way back to get the strikeout looking.
Boy, a big strikeout for Severino, and it's going to be up to C.J. Cron, who has the run batted in with a first inning double. And he takes a first pitch strike off the fastball, and that one hitting 98. Ball pops away, not far enough to give Span ideas about moving up. 1-1. Well, the Rays left Cron at second base. They had him there with 1 out in the first and failed to get him home. They got Span up to second base here in the third with 1 out. Severino got the big out on Kiermaier. The 1-1 to C.J. Cron is wide. 2 balls and a strike. Fastball. Challenged him up. 2-2.
Good thing he got it up there too, because C.J. Cron took a healthy rip at that fastball up.
Two. He fouls this one back. That one hit 99 on the gun. So Severino reaching back for more, trying to end the top of the third, and contact foul by Cron.
And he altered his swing just a hair to get to that pitch, and you wonder if now he doesn't come right back with the slider down and away.
And he does, and he got him, and Cron's not happy. So Cron out on strikes. So we're going to head into the bottom of the third. Aaron Judge will be leading off for New York in this 2-1 game. Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez due up for New York against the Rays lefty Blake Snell. First pitch is a strike. Well, 50 pitches for Snell through the first 2 innings. 1-1. Severino has 50 through 3.
And you want to start to see him get that pitch count under control. You know, with 2 bullpen days coming up in Boston, imperative that these starters give you some length. 25 pitches per. It will be troublesome if that does not turn around pretty quickly.
Yeah, the Rays will have the bullpen day Thursday, tomorrow in Boston. And Friday, a scheduled day off to protect the Boston home opener. Jake Faria will pitch on Saturday, and then a bullpen day on Sunday in Boston. And a full count. When he starts him, he had a couple full counts in the second inning, 1 in the first, and now 1 on Judge to begin the third. And a leadoff walk. Well, that's the last thing he wants to do.
Well, not with Giancarlo Stanton coming to the plate, or even the 2-run homer in this game. And as you can see, about 60% of his home runs a season ago, middle to middle in, about thigh high. Guess what? That's exactly where that slider was from Blake Snell. Middle of the plate, working its way in, right into the swing of Stanton. Yeah, he's been pulling off the breaking balls, moving down and away. I thought that's why the curveball would have been a better choice there, and he's had trouble chasing the fastball up and being able to get to it, but that pitch played right into his hot zone and his swing.
The first pitch to him is a fastball outside. Yeah, that's the dynamite zone there, as we saw, middle to middle end. High foul ball drifting toward the stands. That's going to be out of play. Well, you look up and down this lineup, and particularly here's an inning where you have Judge, Stanton, Sanchez, and Gregorius with what he's doing. In the 4th spot in this lineup, 5th overall, but in this inning, the 4th. That takes a lot to go through a lineup such as this one. Two and one. Squares the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A tough schedule early for the Rays and a rough start to this point. And he strikes out Stanton. Kept it away from him.
He went with the changeup down and away, put it in a great spot, and coming off of a fastball. Well executed pitch, and Stanton's not going to be able to reach that the way that that front hip starts to fly open.
Snell to face the DH, Gary Sanchez. Starts him with a breaking ball. Taken 4, ball 1. The Yankees with 2 in the first on the Stanton home run, and the Rays offense still trying to catch its stride. So you're out there on the mound facing this tough lineup, trying to contain them. See what the Rays can do to ignite their offense. Ball 3. TBA, as much as you're concerned about the Rays offense, if you're out there on the mound, that's something that ideally you just have to put that out of your mind.
You have to, as difficult as that may be, and it's something that we see as a big picture, but as a starting pitcher or a pitcher in general, your mindset has to be, I've got to take care of my business. I'm not swinging the bat, I'm pitching. I need to hold the other team down and let them do their thing. And you can't get caught up in thinking. It's hard enough to go out there when you're thinking about nothing but pitching and being successful. If your mind is thinking, I've got to do my job and I got to do it perfectly because they're not really, you've scatterbrained.
Yep. You've divided your attention zone.
Yeah, and that will not work out well. You're setting yourself up for failure.
Fly ball back into left, sends Span back to the track, to the wall, and it's gone. Sanchez hits his first home run of the year. That's only his second hit. He'd gone 1 for 20 and unloads on that 3-1 pitch. And this is exactly what the Rays were hoping to stay away from against this Yankee lineup, but it's so tough. The power throughout this lineup, and Sanchez shows some of that right here.
You think about all the ways that we talked about that this lineup can hurt you. The guy who had 1 hit on the season was hitting .050, has a 2-run blast. The guy who went 0 for 5 last night with 5 strikeouts has a 2-run blast. Anybody can get you.
Yeah, now you face the guy who drove in 8 runs last night. D.D. Gregorius, there's the ball 1 to him.
At least the bases are empty.
There is that. 1-1 now to Gregorius. So it's a 4-1 ball game. 4 hits, including 2 home runs for New York. One and 2. Ball 2 strikes. So the leadoff walk on a 3-2 pitch, a 2-2 count. Stanton struck out, and Sanchez got ahead 3-1. And hit the home run. Now 2-2. This will be the 6th pitch of the at bat to Gregorius, down to third. Scoop by Robertson, throw to first in time. So these deep counts continue to run up the pitch count.
Yeah, listen, you're approaching almost another 25 on average this inning. You know, he had 50 through 2, and now approaching, you know, he's at 72 now. So this is where you get concerned with, you know, the bullpen days and the usage out there. You know, we read a great stat today that of all the relievers in Major League Baseball to throw at least 50 pitches in an outing around the entire league, the other 29 teams, they've done that 7 times. The Rays, if you count Andrew Kittredge's, you know, he started.
His beginning.
If you count his beginning, the Rays have already done it 4 times.
Yep.
The rest of the league, 7 times.
Yeah, and you wonder about the sustainability of a rate that's dramatically different than the other 29 teams.
The only way you can even in theory make that work is your starters have to give you length. They can't have, you know, 4 1/3 100 pitch outings. Can't do that.
Yep. And now Drury up here with a 3-ball no strike count. So the pitch count at 75 right now.
And you know what's interesting? You know, Blake Snell has made 5 starts in this building. The team record in those 5 0-5, hasn't gone very well. And in those 5 starts, he's averaging about 22 pitches an inning.
Yep.
This has been a tough venue for him.
That's going to increase a little bit today at this rate. This one skied into right, all the way to the track. That's Malik Smith making the catch and retiring the side. 2 runs on the home run by Sanchez. 4-1 New York through 3. To 2, Randy Wynn. It's a pinch hit grand slam in the 5th, leading Tampa Bay to a season opening sweep of the Tigers. Rays becoming only the 7th team all time to be 3-0 after losing 100 games. We go to the 4th inning. The Rays trying to ignite their offense here, and it's a tough assignment against Luis Severino. Brad Miller fouls it back to lead it off here in the 4th. Strike 1. Miller, then Ramos and Wendell. One and one. Rays got their run in the 1st on the Crone double, driving in Kiermaier. And not much since then. A walk to Robertson. And Severino comes back to go 2-2. Right back to the hill. Severino with that glove up there to grab it. One away. Be sure and visit local participating 7-Eleven stores and pick up a Rays discount coupon for the game Friday, April 13th against the Phillies. Keep saving with $5 Budweiser and Bud Light drafts exclusively on the Budweiser porch. Ages 21 and over. We ask you to please drink responsibly. Sun is shining through here. Fans are appreciative of a little sunshine. Ground ball. Gregorius at short makes the pickup, and Ramos is out on 1 pitch. So a couple of quick outs, 2 outs, 6 pitches into the inning. And now Joey Wendell will try to take a little time getting to the plate. Well, in each of these innings, Blake Snell has run a high pitch count, 27 in the 1st, 23 in the 2nd, and 27 in the 3rd. Severino's gone out there and been pretty tidy with his pace and the number of pitches. 1-0 the count. Down to first base. Austin makes the play unassisted. 3 ground ball outs, and we go to the bottom of the 4th. 4-1 New York. Because your stadium should be where you make it. Looking at Tyler Austin, who made the final play in the top of this inning unassisted, down at first, hitting 7th. Austin Romine, the catcher, follows, and then second baseman Ronald Torres. Ball, no strikes. Blake Snell still looking for that tidy inning where he can make up some ground, try to get a low pitch count inning going. And he falls behind Austin 2-0. Just like that, a 3-ball, no strike count.
Well, the command that we've seen from Blake Snell over the last half of 2017 and his first start this season has not been there this afternoon, to say the least. And then all of a sudden you give up a couple of home runs, fall behind, and then you start to nibble. And that's what we're seeing here.
Yeah, and you got a call strike there. That's that 3-0 generous strike zone call there.
It's the Statsy special.
It's foul, out of play. So the count is full. Joe West behind the plate can move a game along. You know, here's a game that was rain delayed a little bit, a little late start. And you can get into a rhythm with him and he'll respond. High foul, that's going to be out of play. In the bottom of the 4th, a full count to the first baseman, Tyler Austin. It's right back into the screen. Here's another deep count. The Rays have some action up in the bullpen. Snell here over 80 pitches, pitching to his first hitter in the fourth, and Matt Andriese is up in the bullpen. Down to third, foul ball by the time it was gloved by Robertson. And so here's so far an 8-pitch at bat by Austin against Snell, who's trying to cut down on the pitch count. Not happening so far.
I know, and it's hard to envision him, heading out there for the 5th inning. Already 85. You figure this inning he's going to get up into the 90s at minimum.
And there's a leadoff walk. Well, he walked Judge to open the third. He walked Drury to open the 2nd inning. Now a walk here to Austin to open the 4th, and the Yankees have put the leadoff man aboard in every inning. Gardner opened the 1st with a base hit.
Well, that's a tough way to live too. And how about that, coming out for that 4th inning, and you go out there, what was it, 8-9 pitch at bat, and it turns out to be a walk.
Yep.
So it didn't even retire the hitter, and that's why Kyle Snyder out there to try to keep Blake Snell encouraged as they try to set a game plan for getting Austin Romine.
Rays down by 3. Austin Romine singled into right field. It's been one of those days. Snell actually got ahead of Romine 0-2 and then left a little breaking ball up, and he singled into right field on that.
Well,
even when he's been getting ahead, he's lost some of these hitters.
Yeah, and it was the setup now. You're right back to the same situation. Joey Wendell kind of shading up the middle. Brad Miller holding the runner on. A huge hole on the right side. And that's where Romine went last time.
Runner takes off. The pitch is a ball, and on the exchange, Ramos cannot quickly find the handle. And Austin will get credit for a stolen base. It's the first stolen base of the year for the Yankees, and it goes to Tyler Austin.
Well, you're going off first move up the lefty Blake Snell, and Wilson Ramos comes up, a good catch throw guy. And his numbers down a little bit a season ago, but he hadn't played in a while. Tough to get into a rhythm.
Out of play, 2-1.
Boy, everything has to be so precise on that exchange.
Into right center field. Alex Smith will make the catch. The tag at second. Austin's going to go to third and is in there as the throw is cut off. So Romine hits the ball to the opposite field and advances Austin to third.
When you think now that in this 4-1 ball game, the Rays cannot allow any more runs, they're going to pull the infield in here with Torreyes coming to the plate. And before they do that, Kevin Cash is going to make his way to the mound.
Yep, that's going to be it. So Blake Snell works 3 and a third and departs his start. Call to the bullpen brought to you by the Florida Lottery. the new Florida Times the Cash scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery, celebrating 30 years of winning with their biggest scratch-off top prize ever, $15 million. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Matt Andriese will come on. He's in relief of Blake Snell. He worked in the game Friday against Boston, made 27 pitches. Snell made 90 pitches in 3 1/3 of this game, leaves with a man at third and 1 out. So it was a tough day for Snell in regard to pitch count. Found himself behind a lot. 7 of 17 first pitch strikes. Infield up. Torres takes the first pitch and it's a ball away. Andriese inherits the runner. A leadoff walk, a steal, and a move up on the fly ball to right. Torres fouls it back 1-1.
Well, you bring the infield in. Matt Andriese is one of those guys, you know, he's known to get some late life on his pitches, does a good job working down in the zone. And what you need right here more than anything, strikeout would be great, a ball pounded into the ground, and give yourself a chance to make a play at the plate if need be.
And a snap throw back to third. It hits Austin, rolling into foul territory. Quickly recovered by Robertson.
Wilson Ramos aggressively firing this ball down to third. Got the swing and a miss, comes up. And that throw gets through Daniel Robertson, but a nice job of hustling back and staying with it.
Ground ball up the middle against the drawn-in infield, and it drives in the run. Austin scores to make it a 5-run effort for New York, and it's 5-1. The run charged to Snell. Torres picking up his first hit and his first run of the year batted in.
He just shortens up, you know, with 2 strikes, trying to put the ball in play and give himself a chance, and he got a ball elevated and just swats it through the middle of the field. Don't try to do too much, and he found a hole.
Yeah, he's truly almost playing Pepper right there with a drawn-in infield and just got it through. Top of the order again, Brett Gardner batting for the 3rd time in this game. That's going to send Span back on the run, and he made the catch. Denard Span stretching out with that right hand and hauls it in. Great catch by Denard Span to avoid further damage and rob Gardner of an extra base hit.
Boy, the benefit of being left-handed on this ball slicing over your head. The glove already deep, and he times his jump perfectly. Able to hang on. That ball trying to sneak out the top end of that glove. What a catch.
Well, you know, we've seen some quality at bats out of Span and great effort. He's going to give you both of those consistently, and a great catch with great effort there. Now 2 outs. Here's Aaron Judge taking a big cut. Torres the runner at first.
I don't think there's any question that coming back home and playing for the Rays in the Tampa St. Petersburg area has put the bounce in the step of Denard Span. He has been tremendous for this team.
Absolutely. It's been fun to watch here the early going. And the Rays are looking for something fun. 1-1 right now.
Now, and he sets a great example of work ethic, the way that you play this game, handling of yourself, a true pro. He's got a lot of experience in this game. He's played it at its highest level. Watch him and take notes if you're a young player.
Yep, that's important. You know, here's a club off to a 1-4 start. They're down 5-1. You get that great effort from him right there. If that ball is over his head, Torres better than even chance of coming all the way around. As it turns out, you record an out, keep Torres at first. He's there with 2 gone. Two and 2 now to Judge. Reese in relief of Snell. Missed up on a check by Judge. Judge running some deep counts. 2-2 his first time up, 3-2 when he walked in the third. Now 3-2 again in the 4th inning. Out of play. Back to first will go Torres. With 2 outs and a full count, he was on the move. Again, a foul ball. This one off the facing of the dugout. He's got a run in the first. The Yankees 2 in the first, 2 in the third, another run in the 4th. And a long one to left, and that's going to go. 3-2 pitch, and Judge connects for the first time this year. A 2-run home run. And the Yankees have another big inning. Now 7-1. 2-run home run by Judge. They've hit 3 home runs today. We're only in the bottom of the 4th. To Stanton. Strike at the knees. It's 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes.
Now, the impressive thing about that, this ball down and out over the plate, but the fact that Judge is able to swing and get underneath it, kind of sweep that ball out of here with his power, you get a little bit of backspin. Guess what? It's going to go. And it did just that.
2-2 to Stanton. Oh, there's tremendous strength here. You can see Andrews trying to sweep the ball down and away. Probably got a little more of the plate than he wanted, but still, idea was pretty good. But Judge is just so strong with such reach. He hits it out, and there's strike 3 called to Stanton. So a 3-run inning for New York. 2-run homer by Judge, capping it 7-1. The latest off the bat of Aaron Judge. And we go to the 5th. Here's a Danny Echeverria swinging and missing. Echeverria, Smith, and Robertson do against Severino. It's fouled right back, 0-2. So 5 runs charged to Blake Snell in 3 1/3. Gave up 4 hits, 3 walks, and a couple of home runs. Struck out 5, made 90 pitches. Severino's coming off an 8-pitch 4th. And he gets Severino, or gets Echeverria. Severino does on 3 pitches here in the 5th. Go back from a StatCast point of view, the home run off the bat of Aaron Judge.
Get underneath that slider, get some lift to it. Not much of a launch angle, but good exit velocity and up over 400 feet. 6th and 7th run of the day.
Alex Smith, first pitch to him is a strike. One ball, 1 strike. Ground ball, a base hit through the left side from Alex Smith. Picked up in short left by Stanton. Smith has a base hit. Rays have their 3rd hit. Daniel Robertson. He walked in the 3rd. Ground ball down to 3rd. Drury to Torres 1. First base 5-4-3 on the double play. headed into the bottom of inning 5. 7-1 New York. Brought to you by your Southern Chevy dealers. By Kubota. To find a Kubota dealer near you, go to gokubota.com. And by your local Ford dealers. Is wrapping up their stay in New York. They'll be headed to Boston after this game. Eventually on to Chicago. Ball 1 to Gary Sanchez, leading off the bottom of the 5th. A lot of pitches from Rays pitching in this game. 90 pitches in 3 1/3 from Blake Snell. So it turns out to be an abbreviated start from Snell in terms of innings covered. 1-1. That with the bullpen day due tomorrow against David Price and the Red Sox at Fenway. Jake Faria and Rick Porcello on Saturday, and then Sunday the Rays with another bullpen day due.
That's
now the plans for Archer to open the Chicago series.
He's got good numbers against that ball club, not so much against the Boston Red Sox in Fenway on top of that. But it does put the onus on the pitching staff, because with Blake Snell going 3 1/3 today has become a de facto bullpen day. And then you've got 2 more coming up in your next 3 games. That's going to definitely stress the pen.
Sanchez taps it. If you go deeper than that, they had the bullpen day when Kittredge started against the Red Sox, and he gave them 3 1/3. But then in Sunday's game, Faria worked 4 innings plus against the Red Sox. Then you go to Archer, who pitched 5. Now Snell 3 1/3. So you're not getting here those 3 out of 4 games there where you're not getting a lot of innings covered. And then the bullpen day set to open Boston series. High pop right side. Who's going to get it? And finally it's Malik Smith with a little back bend coming in from right field to catch it. Wendell and Miller both were out there, and it's Malik Smith who made the catch.
And a little bit of wind up above the stadium here. Malik Smith coming in, kicking up some turf, and Wendell trying to kind of double back and make that play. It's been that kind of an afternoon here for the Rays. But you know what? Going back to those numbers that you that's 12 1/3 innings in 3 starts. That's just over 4 a start on top of bullpen days. And it goes back to the usage that we talked about. While the rest of the league, a handful of guys have done it. Rays have, you know, had those outings of at least 50 pitches coming out of the pen.
Want to know the count to Didi Gregorius. Two and 0.
And boy, just the unfortunate nature of spring training, as far as that, you know, Jake Odorizzi gets traded to Minnesota, and you know you've got depth built in. Brent Honeywell goes down, you know, has Tommy John surgery. Jose De Leon gets injured the day before. 2 days before the season starts, Nathan Eovaldi is going to have arthroscopic surgery. You know, all of that combines to really put you up against it.
Yeah, those are significant losses, because you figured you'd get Honeywell up here at some point during the year. And Eovaldi gave you 4 starters to work with. Now they're looking at 3. Pop to the left side. Robertson there to make the catch on this one. So the first 2 men have been retired here in the 5th, and that's the first time the Yankees have had their first 2 hitters in any inning today go up and down. Sanchez, that pop to shallow right. Gregorius with a foul ball to third. Here's Brandon Drury. Drury has walked and skied to right field. There's a strike. One and one. Matt Andriese working here in this one. Last worked on the 30th of March, Friday, in the Boston series. Picks up a strike, and he's ahead 1-2. Pitched the last 2 innings in that 1-0 Boston win when David Price started for Boston Friday at Tropicana Field. A little tight right there to square the count at 2-2. Foul down in front of Phil Nevin, the third base coach, and beyond. And the count's going to go full. Well, we have had a lot of deep counts from this Yankee lineup. We staff well over 100 pitches here, 2 outs into the 5th. That's what a lot of clubs would attempt to do. Get the opposing starting pitcher in most cases, but if you can get him out of there, continue to work counts and build up that pitch count. And if you're pushing the opposition to over 100 pitches in the front 5, it's a pretty good starting place for an offense. Cut and a miss. Brewery out on strikes. 1, 2, 3. The Yankees down in order. We go to the 6th. 7-1. Bronx here at Yankee Stadium. Top of the order for the Rays. Denard Span stepping in to lead off against Luis Severino. Rays got a first inning run, and that has pretty much been it. Got a 1-out single in the 5th. We have a run on 3 hits. 1-0 the count to Span. Lifts it into left. Stanton is there. That's out number 1 in the 6th inning.
Well, that was exactly what we feared and what we talked about when you had Luis Severino in a little bit of trouble in that first inning, is if he's able to wiggle his way out of it, and it came courtesy of a tremendous play by Ronald Torreyes on a bloop out into right field that took the Rays' second run off the board. You let him get through an inning like that and get into rhythm, this is exactly what can happen. All of a sudden he starts to have quick innings, efficient innings, and getting deeper into the game, and you're still stuck with that 1 run.
Strike to Kiermaier. Yeah, when you think about that first inning, they got the run, had a chance for more. He made 18 pitches in that one. 21 in the 3rd. In the last 2, he made 8 pitches in the 4th and 7 in the 5th. There's 2 strikes on Kiermaier. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kiermaier scored the run in the first inning. And is out on strikes for the 2nd time in this game. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th.
Pretty filthy combination of pitches when you talk about that fastball with such great velocity and that slider. We talked about it with more depth. You got a great shot of it there. Well, he is a handful.
Yes, he is. 6 strikeouts now in 5 2/3. And a first pitch strike into C.J. Cron. 2. Seven, 6-1 for New York. 1, 3-0 for the Rays. Wave and a miss. On the slider, 2 strikeouts in the inning. 3 up, 3 down. 7-1 New York. And you know, things may be tough right now, but this is still a very honest bunch, as exemplified right there. Ryan Denlinger comes up. Somebody from the stands dropped a $10 bill.
Yeah.
That's a Hamilton, I'm sure, into the dugout. And he's trying to find it back to its rightful owner. And this young man, the intermediary, apparently is going to benefit from that.
Yeah, that's perfect. The way that worked out was perfect. The kid sitting right down next to the dugout in the padded seat probably needs 10 more bucks.
From those $10, perhaps a fortune grows. It all, can you imagine the story? It all started, I was at the ballpark one day. From out of nowhere, there came $10. And that began the empire that I was sitting in my
$1,200 seat, and someone handed me a 10.
That's hard to buy a beverage for that.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Well, you know, through these difficult times, you maintain your integrity, as Ryan did right there. Doing the right thing. Two and two. Having known him for a while, we're not surprised that he was doing the right thing.
No.
That's what he does.
Listen, high character guy.
Yep.
High character guy. He was one of my first real friends in the organization. When I first started and became, they made me the assistant pitching coach for Jim Hickey, and I was not allowed to be in the dugout. So help on the field, help in the bullpen, all those things. When the game started, I had to be upstairs.
Yeah.
So I made myself, I'd get on the couch in the food room. Yep. And watch the game on the big screen TV right there. And at that time, Ryan.
That's a great job, by the way. On the couch in the food room, I'm doing my job right now.
Yeah,
that's good. That's a great spot.
Yeah.
Almost as good as the kid who got the $10.
That's right. That's why I feel it. I know that kid. But yeah, so that's what Ryan was in charge of, the food room at that time. And of course, he's in there doing his thing, getting ready for after the game, and I'm sitting there, doing my little notes and watching the game, and got to know each other. And Tremendous human being.
Yeah, he sure is. Sure is.
Now kind of running the show down there. And looking like it, he's running the show down there.
That's right. Yeah, don't mess with him.
Not with those shades. That's how excited he was. Saw the sun come out for 30 seconds. Got to fire the shades on.
Well, Austin is struck out swinging. So the third strikeout for Andriese. It's now strike the count on Austin Romine. That's hit through the hole on the left side. Romine has his second hit. That gives him 2 for 3. Well, whether you're having a day out with the group from the office or fun with friends, group tickets would be the best way for your team to cheer on the Rays. Host your next company outing at Tropicana Field in an exclusive field level party area, or entertain clients in an executive suite. Visit RaysBaseball.com/groups today. Rays up. Ronald Torreyes, 1 on, 1 out. Into right field, Malik Smith back to make the catch, and an eye toward first, but Romine on his way back there. 2 outs. Brett Gardner, top of the order, coming up here. Gardner singled his first time, an infield hit, scored on the Stanton home run. No ball, no strikes. Nothing. Popped up and will carry out a play. 2-1. A 2-1 count. The runner at first is Romine. Toward the line in left. Denard Span there to catch it. No runs, a hit, 1 left. We go to the 7th inning. 7-1 New York. let's go places. By the Freedom Boat Company. The freedom to be on the water without the hassle of boat ownership. And by your local Honda dealer.
Oh my good God.
There's a lot going into this appearance. Pretty good moves. YMCA.
It's a little early for those moves. Let it breathe.
Brad Miller takes the pitch upstairs, 1-0.
Big Islander fan.
Line drive into center and a base hit. Miller will make the turn and hold at first. Leadoff single. The Rays got 2 hits in the first when Kiermaier singled. Crone drove him home. We got another hit from Malik Smith in the 5th and a leadoff base hit by Miller here in the 7th. Wilson Ramos. Go back for a strike. One. Pitch is down 2-1. Ground ball shortstop. Gregorius out at second. Torres with a throw to first, and Austin gets the tag. And that's a 6-4-3 double play.
Well, there's a reason, Dwayne, that they refer to that as the pitcher's best friend. You give up that leadoff hit, make a couple of nice pitches, and get a 2 for the price of 1, and out of trouble, and immediately you're 1 pitch away from getting out of another inning.
Well, Joey Wendell. Pitch is upstairs, 1-0. One the count. Little tap to the right side, and Torres has this one. So a couple of ground balls, one a double play, and this one ends the 7th. When we come back, it'll be Judge, Stanton, and Sanchez due up for New York. go to the bottom of the 7th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Blake Snell worked 3 1/3. Matt Andriese followed. And now the Rays are going to get another pitcher in there. Chaz Rowe, the right-hander, will take over.
Well, he's on for the 3rd time here in 2018. He's worked an inning in the 3rd. Limited duty. Comes right in and is going to face the two big boppers, Judge and Stanton. They both have a home run in today's ball game. Now let's start out with Stanton. This gave the Yankees, after the Rays had a 1-0 lead, a 2-strike slider working its way right into the swing and an absolute bullet into left field. That would give the Yankees a 2-1 lead. And then later in the game, getting underneath a sweeping slider. That may have even been a changeup. Regardless, down in the zone, gets underneath it, gets lift, and Aaron Judge pops his first homer of the season.
So the bottom of the 7th inning about to get underway, and Judge takes the first pitch from Rowe. That's a strike. Matt Andriese gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. 2 2/3. Touch for the home run. Struck out 3. Didn't walk anybody. Judge waves and he misses. The slider moving away from him.
Well, Chaz Rowe's slider, pretty interesting because he throws it, comes out of the hand, and stays in the zone for a long time. And then it's got not only some depth to it, but from some late sweeping action.
The foul ball again off a slider.
You're going to get a steady diet of those when you see Chaz Rowe come into a ball game. Going to be some tough righties to face, and that slider is going to play a huge role all year long.
Skied toward the right side. Malik Smith after it near the stands, and he is going halfway into the stands in pursuit of that one. Well, that's some great effort by Malik Smith, and the courteous fan returned his cap.
See how close he was. Now that ball just off the edge of the glove, and you see him end up straddling that low wall out there in right field. Got some hands in the way.
That's strike 3 call. So he gets Judge looking. Strikeout number 9 for Rays pitching.
Well, he gets him with the frisbee. 83, takes it right to the outer third. Really yanks that pitch, and you see how late that break starts.
Now Stanton, first pitch strike, fastball in there. Stanton struck out 5 times in last night's game. Homered his first time up today and struck out twice since. Waves through this one. A 2-run home run in the first, connecting off Blake Snell, who was charged with 5 runs in 3 1/3. Gave up 2 home runs. Andriese gave up the other home run. and a miss. Strikes him out with a fastball this time. So 3 strikeouts for Stanton today. So the Rays have held him to a 1 for 9 with 8 strikeouts and a 2-run home run. Gary Sanchez is the hitter. It's inside, 1-0. Strike. 1-1. Darts in. 1-2. Towards second base, and Wendell will make the play. 2 strikeouts and a ground ball. So Chance Rowe, Judge, and Stanton on strikes. Sanchez on the 4-3. We go to the 8th, 7-1 New York. On Rays Live, pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Bullpen day for the Rays tomorrow. This turned out to be an inadvertent bullpen day. Snell worked 3 1/3, Andreessen Rowe. And tomorrow, Doug breaks down Red Sox lefty David Price. First pitch here in the 8th, and Echeverria takes a strike. Adaney 0 for 2 today. Grounded to short and struck out swinging. It's 1-1. Ball 2 strikes. Luis Severino has pretty much had everything his way. The Rays got their run in the first, had a chance to add more, but That was prevented on a nice play by Correas at second base, who went into short right. There's a ground ball by the bag at first and up the right field line. Echeverria has a leadoff single. The Rays collect their 5th hit.
Boy, even if you go back to that 3rd inning where it was a leadoff walk to Robertson, and then after a nice play coming off the mound on a force play, threw a pickoff attempt away. Runner at second, ends up going 3-1 on Kevin Kiermaier with some bad misses in there, and comes back with 2 back-to-back backdoor sliders to strike him out. And that really is the point at which he did not look back. He has just taken it to another level from there. His offense gave him a lead, continued to expand that lead, and he's been locked in.
Starts Malik Smith with a strike.
And all that efficiency. He's just about to hit 90 pitches, and we're in the 8th inning.
There is number 90, and it's 1-1. Down to first, outside the bag. 1-2. This time the tap's going to be fair, handled unassisted by Austin. Up to second base goes Echeverria. So 1 on, 1 out. Seeing eye single. Texas leaguer, swinging bunt, the Baltimore chop. All that matters is that it looks like a line drive into box score in your march to $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today. Well, with 1 on and 1 out, that's going to be it for Luis Severino. Gets a nice hand. Back with a new pitcher in a moment. Severino today, making his 2nd start of the year, 7 1/3 innings.
Yeah, got deep into the game and had his pitch count under control. The Rays had a couple of opportunities early, nothing dramatic, but certainly they pushed him early. We're not able to cash through except for the 1 run as he goes 7 1/3, gives up just the 5 hits. The fastball was on display again in the upper 90s. That slider with that improved depth, we saw plenty of that. And you command the strike zone and pitch ahead, you can expand late, and that's what Severino did all afternoon.
Well, he faced 26 hitters, made 19 first pitch strikes.
Well, that is by the book.
Adam Warren last year in 46 games with a 235 earned run average. And a check swing by Daniel Robertson. Echeverria, the runner, at second with one out. Deck, the top of the order, Denard Span. Robertson has walked and grounded into a double play. Went around the horn. Foul back into the seats. 2-1 now. Cut and a miss. 2-2. Robertson starting at third. We've been dividing time at second base with Wendell. Matt Duffy and Carlos Gomez getting the day off. The count is full. Robertson fouls that one back. Fly ball the opposite way, sending Judge back. That's going to be off the bottom of the wall. That's a long single. Over to third goes Echeverria. He had to make sure the ball was going to be away from Judge. And Daniel Robertson picks up a base hit, making it a first and third one-out situation.
They saw a lot of pitches, worked a deep count. And then here's the payoff. Ball's up and away, and Daniel Robertson played pepper with the wall out there and right. A shot over the head of Judge. Just hit too hard, and Echeverria going back, wondering if he may need to tag. Got to go too far to get to third, and no chance to score as Judge got it in quickly.
Now the top of the order. Here's Denard Span. Takes the pitch in. Fly ball center field. Gardner will back up for this one. There'll be a tag at third by Echeverria. He will score. The Rays got their second run, and it will be charged to Severino on a sacrifice fly to center by Denard Span. Span picking up his sixth run batted in. Robertson holding at first. And it's 7-2 with Kevin Kiermaier now on to face Warren. The pitch is a strike. 0-2. The ball, 2 strikes. So Warren comes on, inherits a runner, he scores. Cut and a miss. That's out number 3 and the 3rd strikeout for Kiermaier today. Bottom of the 8th coming, 7-2. A key stat, the Rays continue offensively to struggle against opposing starting pitchers, and here's the evidence.
Well, over 36 in the 3rd. The numbers are ugly, but they speak for themselves. Ironically enough, today was the first time that the Rays starting lineup has gone out and been able to score more than 1 run against a starting pitcher. They got 2 off of Luis Severino, but you know, the Boston starting staff did a number on this Rays lineup in these 2 games here against the Yankees. Jordan Montgomery was good for 5 yesterday. Severino very good for 7 and a 3rd here today.
Jose Alvarado will become the 4th pitcher for the Rays. The lefty on to face Didi Gregorius here. Gregorius 0 for 3. The pitch is a strike. Chaz Rowe pitched a perfect inning, 2 strikeouts.
They're going to have to do their homework and figure out what these guys are trying to do, how they're having success, because we've seen a different style from these 2 staffs between Boston and New York.
Ground ball by the mound. Over to Pickett is Wendell, and the throw to first, and picked there the throw by Miller. Gregorius first out of the 8th.
Boston did a great job of challenge fastballs on the inner half. All 4 of their starters really made their mark pitching in. They weren't in there the entire game, but they were in there enough to let you know that that was a big part of the game plan. Jordan Montgomery in yesterday's ball game, a lot of off speed, curveball, changeup, occasional fastball, almost used that as a show pitch. And then Luis Severino today just was overpowering.
Alvarado comes in too low. Into Drury at the plate. Drury 0 for 2. He walked his first time. And is ahead in the count right now. That's a strike. 2-1. Braves with that run in the first. New York grabbed the lead in the bottom of the first on Stanton's third home run of the year. Sanchez hit a 2-run home run in the third inning. They scored 3 runs in the fourth, 2 coming on a home run by Judge. Now it's 2-2. The 2-2 and strike 3 call. Drury caught looking. Well, 11 strikeouts for Tampa Bay pitching. They've been touched for 7 runs.
Boy, just 1 short of triple digits right there. Alvarado, the location may have been a little bit better than the velocity. Great pitch. That's what he's capable of, I'll tell you. He's coming out of that bullpen. The sharp breaking ball, high velocity fastball.
Austin, a ground ball to the right side. Wendell with the pickup. It's a 1-2-3-8 for Alvarado. We go to the 9th, 7-2. Cron's going to lead it off. Catch of the game, and for that we'll go back to the 4th inning. Brett Gardner robbed on this great catch by Denard Span. Gardner trying to get a run home there, and Span denied him the run batted in. Aroldis Chapman will get some work here, making his 3rd appearance. 2 innings in the 2 games he's appeared.
And what's important for him, you look down there, you find strikeouts and walks. And right now, sitting at 5 strikeouts, no walks. And when he's able to command the zone, we all know about the overpowering stuff. He gets into trouble with falling behind, you know, base runners via the walk, and then a team able to catch one and hurt him that way. But I'll tell you what, when he's in the zone, it's triple digits more often than anybody in this game.
So C.J. Cron will lead it off against him. first pitch is a strike. He comes in and delivers 99. Brad Miller due next, and then Wilson Ramos. And a big cut and a miss, nothing in 2. Crone drove in a run in the first with a double. A couple of strikeouts since then, and quickly behind Chapman.
He had an average velocity a season ago of 100.1 miles an hour. Average velocity.
This one is fouled back in there at 101.
So then do the math, the first 3 pitches, 99 plus 100 plus 101. That averages out to 100. And that's
I
where
love
he
it when you
sits.
do math in your head like that.
You know, listen, I was told there would be no math, but there always turns out to be some.
And you were again up to the challenge. 1 ball, 2 strikes. You get a little spring in your step when you're challenged.
Yeah, that goes for 2 of us. To be challenged up here. You're challenged by the truck all the time. You got to stay spry and nimble.
That's right. 1-2 is lifted back into left field. And Stanton is there to make the catch. So 1 out in the 9th. Now Brad Miller. Well, Miller's single in the 7th. Now he's in there against the lefty. All of a sudden, a big breeze blowing debris across the field, and Torre is showing that he can not only come up with great plays chasing a baseball, but that big blue plastic bag out there, he made quick work of that. Brad Miller. He's trying to quicken that swing. Got a little piece of it, fouled it. Somebody had pizza. That's down 1-1. Too high with the fastball. 97, he must be losing it.
Taking a little off, trying to throw strikes.
Be sure and stick around. Rich and Doug will be along with the post-game show. 2-1. Skied to the left side into foul territory. Drury is under it, and he makes the catch. Started to drift on him a little bit. 2 gone.
Well, you got debris everywhere. You've got the wind pushing that ball over towards the low wall, but Drury stays with it, and the Yankees 1 out away.
And Wilson Ramos about to step in. Ramos made a bid for a base hit in the first inning, trying to drive in another run, and was denied that by Torres. Strike 1, a couple of ground balls since then, including a double play ground ball in the 7th. ball, 1 strike. Well, the Rays and the Red Sox tomorrow. We'll be with you at 1:30 tomorrow. First pitch at 2:05. Does it, and Ramos out on strikes, and the Rays are finished in the 9th as the Yankees win this one 7-2. Severino the winner, 2-0. Snell the loser, 0-1. Took 2 hours and 44 minutes to play it. We'll be with you tomorrow from Boston. For Ron Anderson, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not the outcome, so long from New York.